I feel like the Sawhorse can kind of be the underappreciated workhorse of the shop. But for me, my Sawhorse experience was really where I started out. My first workbench after I got a house was just a couple of the cheap plastic fold-up Sawhorses, and then I had a solid core door that I got from a remodeling project as the top, and that served me pretty well until I was able to build my own workbench. And then my Sawhorses became a vital accessory until, alas, recently I was doing a landscaping project, overloaded them with some landscaping bricks, and the splayed legs splayed a little too far. So that brought me about to build a Sawhorse project that was bigger, better, faster, stronger. So this is my $1 million bionic Sawhorse project. And so this is what I've got. And as you can see, I went with more of a trestle style Sawhorse, so I don't have the splayed legs that are gonna get overloaded and come apart. So it's a little bit stronger, that the force is all vertical. The other thing is I wanted to make it look nice. So I wanted some Sawhorses maybe I could take to church or something, but I didn't want to break the bank. So I used a lot of techniques that were kind of fun and challenging, but I also used 2x material. This is 2x Douglas fir that I used, so it wasn't too expensive. So we can talk about a few of the features. There's a lot of through mortise and tenon joinery here and on the feet and on the top, but I didn't go about drilling out the mortises and chiseling them out. How I designed it was to take two pieces of the 2x material and cut dados on either side and then glue the two sides together to make that mortise. So I've done here, this is two 2x4s with dados in them glued together to make the mortises for the top. Same thing here on the legs, have two 2x4s, and then the same thing on the feet. So it's not overly labor intensive, I guess, that way, so makes it pretty easy, but then it still kind of looks nice with the through tenons. And then we have them all pinned with dowels, so they're not, even if the glue fails, it's going to be pretty strongly held together. So that kind of wraps up the construction of the Sawhorse, and then comes to the problem of when I'm working on my Sawhorses, I really didn't have any place to set my stuff. I don't want to set them on my work area. So I came up with this little shelf. It's just a piece of plywood with two sides on it, and it will straddle the cross beam here. And then you can set all your gear on that, so it's not on the ground, and you have a little place where you can reach under there, grab things, and it's not in your way. So that kind of encompasses that little accessory. And then to form my fully knockdown workbench, rather than using the hollow core door or solid core door, I came up with a just simple sheet of plywood here. You might notice all the holes in there. That's for weight reduction, so it's not as heavy, a little bit better airflow. It's more aerodynamic, right? Now, just kidding, you can use them for dog holes or hold downs that would fit in a dog hole, slide clamps in there, and that kind of stuff, just to kind of help you out. And then if you want to use the holes and have some screws on the wall, you can hang it up out on the wall out of the way. And then on the back, got a couple of 2x4s glued on the bottom, just to give it a little bit more support, and then they're notched on either end so it'll fit right over the Sawhorse. So I'll get that on there and show you how it works. So that kind of shows you how you can convert this into a knockdown workbench. It's great for large assemblies, finishing station, sanding station, or just having an extra workbench to work at. It's a great way to have an extra workspace in your shop that you can knock down and get out of the way.